Hi, I'm Wes, AE0OC. Today we're going to take a look at the Audio-Technica AT2040 and how it stacks up as a microphone for ham radio use. Thank you for watching 5.9 Radio. Make sure you stick around for my final thoughts and a comparison of this microphone to another popular ham radio mic. As a singer, DJ, and even a karaoke host, I had used a lot of microphones long before becoming a ham. Audio-Technica is known for their vocal microphones and have proven themselves nearly bulletproof in my shows. The Audio-Technica AT2040 is a large diaphragm, dynamic broadcast microphone. But is it a good microphone for ham radio use? Before we get to that, there's a few things to consider. First, let's look at why you would want a boom mic instead of the handheld that came with your radio. For many of us, it's to free up our hands by using a foot-operated push-to-talk switch. For me, with limited use of my legs, that option doesn't work. I'm currently using a push-to-talk box I built to sit on my bench, but have considered a knee-operated switch, and I may try building one in the future. The second reason is for improved audio. While the mic that comes with your rig is often looked down upon as just a hand mic, the ones from major manufacturers actually perform quite well, considering their size and the small opening that allows sound to enter the microphone. But there is a lot of room for improvement in your audio when switching to a boom mic. The third reason is the wow factor. Let's face it, when someone comes into your shack, that broadcast-style boom mic makes a "this is serious equipment" type of statement. Okay, so we've decided we want a boom mic, but which one will best suit our needs for ham radio use? Very few broadcast-style microphones are specifically designed for ham radio use. The one that comes to mind is the Heil PR 781, and let me say that it is an outstanding microphone. But it is also a $209 microphone. Are there any less expensive options? The good news is yes. In fact, most broadcast or vocal microphones can be set up to give great improvements over the stock handheld. In fact, I've heard $20 Amazon special microphones running through a cheap mixer that sounded fine on the air. Just make sure the microphone has an XLR connection opposed to a USB interface. The first thing to decide when choosing a microphone is condenser or dynamic. Condenser mics are more sensitive and do a better job at picking up the higher air frequencies. Condenser mics do require 48 volts of phantom power to operate and need a mixer or standalone source to provide this. Dynamic mics generally do a better job at rejecting background noise and have a richer, dark sound. I chose a dynamic microphone because I didn't want echo from my room, barking dogs, or my teenagers' video games making their way into my microphone. But if you're in an acoustically treated room, a condenser mic will allow you to place the mic further away from your mouth and give you a better presence boost in your mid to high frequencies. Speaking of frequencies, most microphone companies strive to capture as much of the audio spectrum as possible, but each microphone has specific frequencies at which it responds more readily to. These are represented in a frequency response graph. A typical vocal microphone has a response of 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. This is a frequency bandwidth of 19,980 Hz. A typical FM radio on 2 meters transmits a bandwidth of about 16,000 Hz. A single sideband rig on HF is about 2,800 Hz. Therefore, a lot of the information captured by the microphone is lost or compressed in the radio. So what part of the audio spectrum do we want to transmit? For the purpose of communications, articulate speech is best obtained by boosting the frequencies between 2,000 and 3,000 Hz. Combine this with the fact that low frequencies consume more of your radio's transmit power, and you're going to want to roll off some of those low frequencies. Most broadcast microphones use a cardioid, supercardioid, or hypercardioid polar pattern. The differences are subtle, but just know that a cardioid microphone has its best rejection at the rear, while super and hypercardioids have more rejection to the sides and a small area of sensitivity in the rear. The Heil PR 781 was designed to work well with ham radios. It is a cardioid dynamic microphone with a sensitivity of negative 55 dB and a frequency response of 50 Hz to 16,000 Hz. But I was unable to locate a frequency response graph for it. It features a presence boost in the mid to high frequencies, but it is unclear as to what those exact frequencies are. The Audio-Technica AT2040 is a hypercardioid dynamic mic with a sensitivity of negative 53 dB and features a presence boost from about 1500 Hz to 7500 Hz, peaking around 3200 Hz. The specs are very similar to the PR 781, more so than any other microphone I've seen. With a roll-off of the lowest frequencies and a bandwidth of just less than 16,000 Hz, either of these are a great fit for 2-meter FM. For single sideband HF, cutting over 4,000 Hz off the ends will help greatly. But you may still need to tailor it to suit your radio and your voice with an EQ, either in the radio or with a mixer. The AT2040 has a built-in shock mount and a pop filter inside the mesh screen, and I have not found it necessary to use an external pop filter or shock mount. I paid $109 for my AT2040 on Amazon, and it came with a Blue Coil brand boom arm, XLR cable, and a pop filter. You can purchase a shock mount for the Audio-Technica 20 series microphones if you feel that you need one. You've been listening to me on the AT2040 throughout this video, and here's a sample recorded earlier from our local 2-meter net. This was my first night as net control, and I was a little nervous, but all in all, it went pretty well.
This is my normal week to do the net, but we've got a very special net control that's going to be doing it for the first time. I'd like to introduce you all to Wes, AE0OC. You've probably heard him check in before, but tonight he's going to be running the net. So with that, I'm going to turn the net over to Wes and say 73 to everyone. And I'll be around in case Wes needs me for anything. Go ahead, Wes.
Well, thank you, Franklin. Hello to everyone on the net tonight. Welcome to the Friday night 2-meter net of the Southwest Missouri Amateur Radio Club. My name is Wes, AE0OC. This net meets regularly on Friday night at 8 p.m. on this frequency of 146.910 with a PL tone of 162.2. This is a rad tune net, so check in and tell us about your day and what you've been doing. Well, this is not an emergency net. If anyone at any time has emergency traffic, please call break. Does anyone have emergency traffic? Please call now. Hearing none, I will move on to announcements. Smart Meeting is held on the third Saturday of each month at the Salvation Army at 1707 West Chestnut Expressway in Springfield. Our next meeting will be Saturday, February 19th. Testing starts at 3 p.m. for anyone that wants to get their technician license or upgrade to general or extra class. The test fee is $15. The meeting starts at 5 p.m. and you do not have to be a club member or licensed ham to attend. You also do not have to have an amateur radio license to be a club member. Everyone is welcome to join the fun. A meal is provided by an outstanding cook, and everyone is welcome to eat, including guests. We do ask that if you are able to bring a side dish, soft drink, or dessert item to add to the mix. This will be our first meeting at the new location, so don't go to the DAV. We are now meeting at the Salvation Army.
I'm 35 miles away from the repeater, so a little static is to be expected. So here's my conclusions. This mic is built like a tank. The metal body is heavy, and the metal grill is rigid with no give. The XLR port is tight with very little movement. The only weak point would be the plastic yoke mount, but even that seems sturdy. Top that off with the black satin finish and the broadcast styling, and you have a good-looking microphone that's built to last. The high-pass filter cutting off some of the lower frequencies really helps to keep your transmit power where you want it for clear and understandable speech. Furthermore, the frequency response of this microphone is a near-perfect match for most 2-meter transceivers. The internal pop filter does a good job of plosive rejection. And with proper mic technique, makes an external pop filter or screen unnecessary. The internal shock mount does an okay job of noise rejection, but if you will be handling the mic, moving the boom arm, or even typing on your keyboard while transmitting, you may want to add an external shock mount. The hypercardioid polar pattern really focuses the sensitivity to the front of the mic and helps with rejection of unwanted noises from the side. But the area of sensitivity at the rear of the mic can pick up voice reflections off of a wall or other objects behind it. This can be reduced or eliminated by placing the mic at a 45-degree angle to the operator and the wall, which also reduces plosives. The sensitivity of negative 53 dB is typical or slightly better than most dynamic microphones. Ran directly into my Yaesu HF rig, I was able to reduce the mic gain and achieve levels similar to those of the hand mic. When connected directly to my TYT dual band, however, I found the audio to be lower than the original hand mic, and it needed to be ran through a preamp or mixer to get good levels. If you plan to use this mic for other purposes, such as singing, podcasting, or voiceovers, and will be running it through a mixer, you may find the low cutoff and mid-forward sound to be less than desirable. And you may be better served with a full-range microphone, and using the mixer to EQ out some of the lows when using it with your radio. Personally, I like the low cutoff on my voice, which can be a bit bassy or muddy on a full-response microphone. If your only purpose is a boom mic that can be run directly into your HF rig without using a mixer, and don't mind spending $209, then the Heil PR 781 is an excellent choice. If, however, you would like similar results at less than half the price, I feel the Technica AT2040 is a perfectly acceptable substitute.